Well, Portland's Joint Office of Homeless Services says they want $40 million of Portland's $114 million in federal stimulus money. But city commissioners say not so fast. This morning, Portland City Commissioner Joanne Hardesty joins us live to explain why some are putting the brakes on this idea. Commissioner Hardesty, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I think we want to dig into this issue because people definitely want to know how this stimulus money is going to be spent. And I think to get a better idea of how this $40 million would be used, at least what the Joint Office was proposing, I think we first need to look at what's being done right now to address how the homeless population here is being protected in the pandemic.
Well, as you may know, we've added a lot of additional sites for houseless community members to stay, to keep themselves safe during this pandemic. But the reality is that even with the convention center and a few community centers open, all that did was provide more space so that we could create physical distancing. It was not until we opened the 3 outdoor camps downtown a couple of weeks ago that we added any capacity. What we know about the pandemic is it's going to be with us for a while, at least the next 12 to 18 months. And what's being proposed is just less than 500 hotel rooms for people who need to be physically distanced and people who need some place to be able to do that. That is not a good investment of $40 million. If at the end of the day we spend $40 million and we have nothing to show for it, that's a non-starter. We're not going to support that proposal.
Now, I think a lot of people would look at this and ask, though, but is the issue here really timing? You know, we've been talking for years about how to increase affordable housing and the capacity here to help those houseless members of our community. But right now, the pandemic is here. We just don't have time to build a new facility or to move forward with some of those plans that have been on the table.
Well,
So
that's absolutely true, but we are in a state of emergency. And in a state of emergency, we have to think really creatively. There's no reason why we aren't using Concordia University. For $40 million, we could probably buy Concordia University and set it up with, it's got food, resources, housing. So there are a lot of things that we could do if we were thinking creative, rather than thinking about how do we expand the current system that we have. What we need to do is create more housing units that people can afford to live in.
yeah, I know purchasing property was one of the ideas discussed yesterday. As you and other leaders said, back to the drawing board here. What would you most like to see the Joint Office do to work towards addressing the pandemic, but also set you up in the long run?
Absolutely. As you know, right now we're still fighting the pandemic. People are still at risk of becoming ill or dying from the pandemic. So our first priority is to keep community members safe. We need safe places for houseless members to be able to physically distance and to get food and services that they need. So that's what we have to do right now. But as we're dealing with the right now, we have to think about what the future looks like. And for the future, what we need is things that the city owns, buildings, right? Properties that the city owns. So we should be talking about buying hotels. We should be talking about buying up properties that we can then later turn into permanently affordable housing. We need to take advantage of this opportunity to plan for the long term, but we must do things immediately, like making sure that people have the physical distancing space and that we have as much housing as possible for folks who currently are houseless. But as you know, people that are home are very insecure right now. With the high unemployment rate, we know our houseless community will grow if we don't take specific actions now to make sure that we are providing permanent locations for people. People need housing they can afford to live in, and they don't have it today.
Yeah, it certainly is tough to find those solutions that can check all of the boxes. So a conversation that we'll certainly be watching going forward. Commissioner, thank you so much for joining us this morning and stay safe.
My pleasure, and you stay safe also.